Hi, everybody. I've been waiting a whole year to tell this testimony, and I told Pastor Eric last year I will stand and tell this testimony. It was Easter Sunday, 2020, when I looked in the portal on Dan's Labs and saw that it had come back with a kappa lambda, some kind of chain, which I knew what that meant, that he had multiple myeloma, a type of cancer, blood cancer. So he goes, well, what do you think, honey? And I said, I think you have cancer. And he goes, oh, I didn't want that. And I said, well, nobody wants it, but we got it. So, we're going to have to deal with it. It was a crazy ride this last year with all kinds of things that we came up against: financial, socialization, COVID, trying to find a doctor, medical bills, things we hadn't heard of that we had to educate ourselves on. And I remember laying in bed crying. And I thought, wow, this is what we worked so hard for. This is what we're going to look forward to. That I'm going to be a widow. I can't believe, Lord, you would do this. Why would you do this? I don't understand. And I heard him clear as day say, you know what, Shelley? You guys are going to go through some things, but he's going to be okay. And after that, I said, Lord, just give me peace. Give me peace so I can go to sleep. I have to get up and go to work tomorrow. And it's Team Tuesday, so it's a busy day.
Yeah, team.
So I remember it was a Monday night, and we were scheduled to go see our primary care on a Wednesday. I remember that. And it, like I said, it was just a crazy ride. We went from one doctor to another, and we were lucky enough. While we were waiting to get in to see our primary care, I got online, I Googled to see who was the best oncologist for multiple myeloma in a 50-mile radius. I reached out to them, and they actually gave me an appointment for the following week. Okay, so when we went to see our primary care, she was like, I've got somebody you can see, but you may have to wait a while. And I said, no. I said, I already got an appointment set up. And she said, are you sure? Because normally they don't take you without, a biopsy and your lab test, and you have to have this. And I said, nope. They told me just to have you fax everything to them. I feel like every step of the way that was God, every step of the way, because there are things that happened that were out of our control. We went and seen Dr. Shane in Moffitt. He is one of the top oncologists for multiple myeloma. He has a waiting list. He only sees so many patients a year because he is a teacher and an educator and a researcher. For that whole year, we went through the programs. We went through different medications, different trials, this and that, and nothing really seemed to be working. We'd kind of have this roller coaster ride. Things would work and then they'd go down, and we're just, the whole time, things would get down, different things would come up financially, whatever. And I would hear that in the back of my mind, you're going to go through some things, but you're going to be all right. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to stand on that word. If anybody tried to say, well, Shelley, what are you going to do? I said, listen, I know what I heard. I heard God tell me that, and that's what I'm going to stand on. And I've told everybody, I believe it was God that put us here for a reason. God definitely saw us through not only this whole situation with cancer, but, come December, things wasn't looking too good for Duff. His numbers were down. He had already been through 3 different medications. And Dr. Shane, we saw him in January, and he said, look, I went in there with like all full gear. Okay, like, what are we doing? His labs have been down. I'm in the email on the portal at night, sending messages. And when we saw him in January, he said, I know you got a lot of questions. I've seen your questions, and don't be upset. You don't have to go this route, but there was one open chair available to put him in a trial for a CAR T cell therapy. There's only 196 chairs in the world. He got the last seat for that trial for CAR T cell therapy. And he said, we went ahead and scheduled him for that. If it were my family member, I would do it. He said, but if you don't want to do it, you don't have to. We'll go down a different road. We'll try different medicine. But I would do this. Duff and I went home. We talked about it. We looked at all the side effects. There's not really any guarantee that it will work. If it does work, there's no guarantee of time because it's a trial. They don't really have all the numbers out. The trial's only been going on for 2 years, and there's all kinds of different levels to this trial. So that being said, we got on the portal. We had 2 days to make a decision. And I said, you know what, let's do it. I feel like, you know, God's saying just go forward with this. And so we did. And after that, everything just started moving right along. And I'm just taking up this whole time. Do you want to say anything?
That's all right.
So we're moving right along with everything. And yeah, so he went into the hospital in March. He went through the trial. He spent 15 days in the hospital. While he was in there, he spiked a temperature of 102, I think, twice. He didn't have any of the cytokine release syndrome, which is, yes, that's part of the temperature, but he could have had seizures. They said it's not abnormal if he was to wake up and won't know you. And I was like, oh, he's going to know me, you know, because I told him, I said, look at me, because you're going to know me when I walk in there. So every day I made sure I was there. He was up out of that bed walking. And he actually did very well. They were surprised. They were really surprised by how well he did. So to get to all that, I want to tell you that this was all on God. We give God the glory for this. Nothing that we did, it was all God in his hand on everything. But last week, he had his third biopsy. He had one February, March, April. We went in last Wednesday to see the doctor to get the results of his bone marrow biopsy from that Monday. And she said, I'm sorry to tell you we don't have any of his results. And I'm like, what? Now I'm like, Urgh. And I said, what do you mean? Why would you set up an appointment 2 days after his biopsy and not have any results to tell us? You know, we've been sitting here for, you know, ever waiting on these results. This is what's going to tell us whether or not he's, you know, this CAR T cell therapy worked. So she goes, Shelley, I said, we never heard anything from his other biopsies. You know, so now this is our third biopsy. We don't even know what is going on. So she told us that in February he was 95% invaded with cancer. In March he was 65%, and that's only because they put him back on his chemotherapy and everything that he had. So she said, Shelley, when we get the results, I promise I will call you and let you know, but it's probably not going to be till tomorrow. And I said, okay, all right. So Duff and I went home like, ugh, like frustrated. And I said, okay, all right, don't worry about it. We're going to wait another day. What's another day? That night at 7 o'clock, I seen that 745 number come up. And I said, oh, that's Moffett. But I almost didn't answer it because they always call the day ahead to tell us about it. Don't forget you have an upcoming appointment. But something told me to answer that phone call. And when I answered it, she goes, hi, is this Miss Matt? And I go, is this Dr. Lou? She said, yes, it is. And I said, I hope you're telling me some good news. She goes, well, actually, I'm going to tell you some exceptional news. She said, your husband has really responded very well to this, and he has less than 1% found in his bone marrow. And that could be a good thing, Shelley. She said, because you are supposed to have a certain part of your bone marrow to have plasma in it. It's okay. She goes, so we did a second test to see if there was any sleeper cells or any hidden cells anywhere, and it came back negative. So as of right now, we are here to tell you that Mr. Duffers is cancer-free. Praise the Lord. Woo-hoo! You want to say something?
And that's all God's.
Whoop-whoop. Now, we are still
and all
asking.
the prayers.
Yes.
Don't forget about all the prayers. I thank you for all the prayers that you've done.
Yep. And we are still asking for prayers because even though his cancer cells are gone, so is his immune system. So right now, he's still going through therapy, different shots to build up his immune system. So they said that's not unusual. It could take him a little while. 30 to 45 days is pretty common, and then his body should jumpstart back into gear, start making his own immune system, and then he'll go through all of his childhood vaccinations all over again. Just like I said, well, think on the bright side, hon. You'll be getting your vaccinations the same year as your grandkids. You can always remember when you guys got your shots, right? So thank you again, guys. We appreciate you, and we miss you so much. I miss singing. I miss all of you guys. Bye.